What is the Posse Comitatus Act, and how does it affect state emergency powers? Imagine a situation where a natural disaster strikes a community, and local authorities need additional support to maintain order or provide aid. In such moments, questions often arise about the limits of military involvement in civilian affairs. Understanding the legal boundaries that govern military and civilian roles is essential for ensuring proper response and respecting constitutional principles. The Posse Comitatus Act was enacted in the United States in 1870. Its primary purpose is to restrict the use of federal military forces in enforcing domestic laws within the states. The term Posse Comitatus is Latin for power of the country or force of the community, reflecting the concept that law enforcement is traditionally a civilian responsibility. The act was designed to prevent the military from acting as a police force on American soil, thereby protecting citizens from potential abuses of power and maintaining the separation of military and civilian authority. Under the Posse Comitatus Act, the United States Army and the United States Air Force are explicitly prohibited from participating in law enforcement activities, such as arresting individuals, conducting searches, or executing warrants unless specifically authorized by Congress or the Constitution. The Act does not apply to the United States Navy or the United States Marine Corps, but similar restrictions are generally observed across all branches of the armed forces. However, the Act does not prevent the military from providing support during emergencies. For example, the military can assist with logistics, transportation, medical aid, and disaster relief efforts. Such support is often coordinated through laws like the Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act, which grants federal agencies and the military authority to aid in disaster response without infringing upon civilian law enforcement roles. When it comes to state emergency powers, the Posse Comitatus Act's influence is nuanced. States have their own laws and constitutional provisions that govern the use of military forces within their borders. Typically, state National Guard units operate under the command of the state governor and can be mobilized for law enforcement purposes during emergencies or civil disturbances. However, when the National Guard is federalized and placed under the control of the federal government, the restrictions of the Posse Comitatus Act come into effect, limiting their law enforcement capabilities unless specific exceptions apply. In summary, the Posse Comitatus Act acts as a safeguard to ensure that military forces do not overstep their bounds and interfere with civilian law enforcement. While it restricts direct military involvement in law enforcement within the United States, it allows for supportive roles during emergencies, provided those roles do not infringe upon civilian authority. State emergency powers are influenced by both federal laws like the Posse Comitatus Act and state-specific statutes, creating a balance that aims to protect citizens' rights while enabling effective disaster response and civil support.